Good evening. Tonight, the football world was stunned by the shock news that after only 7 weeks in the job, Brian Clough has been sacked as manager of Leeds United. It's been claimed that the footballers passed a vote of no confidence in him, and certainly today, the board took the shock decision that Clough must go. Tonight, on this live calendar special, we're talking not only to Brian Clough himself, but also to the man that he succeeded as manager of Britain's most successful football team, to Don Revie, the England manager. But Brian Clough, first of all. Brian, what's your reaction to being booted out in this fashion?
Oh, it's a very sad reaction. Obviously, to be sacked, as you profoundly put it, and the only way you could put it, is a very sad one. A very sad one for me personally, and I also believe a very sad one from Leeds Football Club's angle and from the Leeds City.
Do you feel that you were given a chance in the job?
Well, 7 weeks is hardly a long time to be given a chance in any job. I would hope that Mr. Revie would get a lot longer time in his job.
Well, you began with very high hopes. We talked on a programme here only a few weeks back. When did you first realise that it wasn't going to work out?
Oh, I didn't realise it at all. I was always convinced, right up until tonight, that it was going to work out. It was inevitable. To replace the best manager on record, or by record, in the Football League, then obviously Leeds had to get somebody that was, slightly special. I don't want to be blasé conceited, but I'm not sure who they could have got to improve on his record.
You were the best man for the job, you thought?
I believed I was, and obviously the Leeds board did.
Well, why didn't it work out? What was the main single thing that went wrong?
Results.
Brian Clough was a highly successful but intensely controversial figure known for his outspoken personality and larger-than-life presence. His charisma made him a magnetic leader, yet it often created friction with players, officials, and rival managers. Clough's confidence bordered on arrogance, but it also fueled his belief that he could transform any team he touched. His bold public statements frequently dominated headlines and shaped his fiery reputation. He embraced confrontation as part of his identity, never hiding from conflict. This unapologetic nature made him both admired and feared across English football. At the heart of Clough's success was a management style built on discipline, trust, and psychological control. He believed in simplicity on the pitch, but demanded absolute commitment from his players off it. Clough often used sharp humor and blunt criticism to push individuals toward their full potential. His approach could be unpredictable, tender one moment, explosive the net. Yet many players credited him with unlocking abilities they never knew they had. His method, so polarizing, produced remarkable results. Public feuds became a defining trademark of Clough's career, drawing as much attention as his trophy wins. He clashed openly with Chairman Raffini's journalists, and even his own players when he felt standards were slipping. His long-running battle with Don Revie in particular became one of football's most famous rivalries. Clough's refusal to hold back transformed press conferences into dramatic theatre. He often used these confrontations to motivate his team or reinforce his principles. Whether intentional or instinctive, his disputes kept him constantly in the spotlight. Despite his abrasive persona, Clough had a remarkable ability to unite a dressing room when it mattered most. He created environments where players felt valued, trusted, and capable of greatness. His partnership with Peter Taylor strengthened this dynamic, combining Clough's charisma with Taylor's eye for talent. Together they inspired underdog teams to rise above expectations and challenge the elite. Clough's leadership relied heavily on loyalty, which he rewarded fiercely. Those who earned his trust often remembered him with deep affection. Off the pitch, Clough faced serious personal struggles, most notably with alcoholism. His drinking habits grew more severe as pressure, fame, and frustration mounted throughout his career. These issues affected his health, his relationships, and at times, his managerial performance. Despite attempts to hide or control the problem, it frequently spilled into public view. Many believe the addiction dimmed what could have been an even greater legacy. Clough's battle with alcohol became a poignant aspect of his complex character. In the end, Brian Clough's legacy remains a blend of brilliance and controversy, triumph and turbulence. His achievements with Derby County and Nottingham Forest still stand among the greatest in football history. Yet his personality, fiery, and deeply human, shaped how the world remembers him just as much as his victories. Clough's flaws made him relatable, while his successes made him legendary. He left behind stories that continue to fascinate fans and critics alike. His impact on the game endures, powerful and unforgettable. Brian Clough's rivalry with Don Revie became one of the defining dramas of English football. Their relationship was marked by sharp words, pointed criticisms, and a deep philosophical divide. Clough condemned Revie's Leeds United side for what he saw as aggressive and cynical tactics. He believed football should be played with honesty and flair, not force and intimidation. This public hostility created a rift that extended far beyond the pitch. It became a battle of personalities that captivated the nation. Clough's attacks on Leeds were relentless and often deeply personal, fueling widespread controversy. He accused Revie's team of cheating and bending rules to achieve success. These remarks infuriated both players and supporters who viewed their achievements with pride, rather than back down. Clough doubled down on his criticisms whenever challenged. The intensity of his words shaped the rivalry into something unforgettable. It turned their feud into a spectacle that defined an era. The disastrous 44 days at Leeds United stands as one of the most dramatic managerial failures in English football. Clough arrived as Revie's successor, walking straight into a dressing room loyal to his enemy. His opening words telling players to throw away their medals created instant outrage. The squad saw him not as a leader but as an intruder who dismissed everything they had built. Clough's style clashed violently with the club's identity from the start. His tenure was doomed almost from the moment he entered the room. The environment at Leeds quickly turned toxic as Clough pushed his ideas with uncompromising force. He demanded a new culture built on discipline, honesty, and attacking football, where players resented his criticism of their past achievements and methods. Training sessions became battlegrounds where trusts evaporated. Clough struggled to inspire a group that rejected him outright. Soon board members sensed the situation could not be repaired. Pressure mounted as results declined and tensions deepened. Behind the scenes, Clough's blunt nature alienated those he needed most, leaving him isolated. Reports of clashes with senior players surfaced almost daily in the press. Supporters questioned his suitability from the moment his appointment was announced. The atmosphere around the club became suffocating and unmanageable. His dismissal after 44 days felt inevitable rather than shocking. Clough's management style was a blend of charisma, confrontation, and psychological sharpness. He believed in total honesty and often used public criticism as motivation. Some players thrived under his demanding standards and direct approach. Others felt humiliated and struggled to cope with the intensity. Clough valued discipline above all, expecting unwavering loyalty and effort. His methods produced brilliance but also created deep divisions. As one of the first true tracksuit managers, Clough brought a new energy to coaching. He immersed himself in training sessions and built close relationships with players. This hands-on approach allowed him to understand personalities and push them effectively. Yet the closeness also meant tempers could erupt quickly when things went wrong. His emotional nature made every victory euphoric and every mistake catastrophic. This volatility became a defining trait of his leadership. A notorious example of Clough's temper surfaced in his clash with Roy Keane at Nottingham Forest. After a costly error, Clough punched the young midfielder in a rare loss of control. Keane later forgave him, describing Clough as a man of passion rather than malice. The incident showed how fiercely he reacted when standards slipped. It also revealed the unpredictable edge that shaped his authority. Such moments cemented his reputation as both brilliant and combustible. Clough's comments about the Hillsborough disaster caused deep outrage across the football community. Years after the tragedy, he suggested Liverpool fans were at fault, a claim widely discredited. These remarks devastated families still grieving their lost loved ones. Critics accused him of insensitivity and ignorance on an issue demanding compassion. Despite mounting pressure, Clough refused to fully withdraw the statement. It became one of the most painful blemishes on his legacy. His stance on Hillsborough highlighted the darker consequences of his unfiltered honesty. Clough often spoke from instinct, without considering emotional repercussions. This strength became a weakness when dealing with matters beyond football. His refusal to soften his views shocked those who admired him. The controversy damaged his public standing, at a time when he was already in decline. It remains a moment many fans struggled to reconcile with his achievements. Financial controversies also haunted Clough during his later years, particularly Bung's allegations. The FA investigated claims he accepted illegal payments during transfer deals. The Teddy Sheringham move became a focal point of suspicion. Clough maintained his innocence but faced increasing scrutiny from officials. His declining health prevented the case from running its full course. An FA panel member later claimed they believed he was guilty based on evidence. These unresolved allegations created a cloud of doubt over his final period in management. Supporters wondered whether he had been unfairly targeted by football authorities. Critics argued his autocratic nature left him vulnerable to questionable decisions. The ambiguity surrounding the case kept debates alive long after the inquiry ended. Clough's inability to properly defend himself added to the uncertainty. It became another chapter in the complex narrative of his career. Clough's battle with alcoholism had profound effects on both his professional and personal life. His drinking increased as pressure mounted at Nottingham Forest. Friends and colleagues noticed his behavior growing erratic at crucial times. Clough later admitted that alcohol clouded his judgment more than he realized. Eventually, his health deteriorated so severely that he required a liver transplant. Addiction became a haunting element of his final years in football. Alcohol also influenced his relationships with players, staff, and family. Some believed he remained a genius despite his decline, while others saw a man losing his grip. His decision-making suffered during important matches and transfer windows. Concerns from directors and supporters became impossible to ignore. Attempts to help him often met resistance, denial, or anger. His decline mirrored the gradual fall of Nottingham Forest from the top ranks. Conflicts with club boards were another recurring theme throughout Clough's career. He demanded full control and resisted interference in football matters. This attitude brought him into frequent clashes with directors who challenged his authority. His resignation from Derby County followed a bitter power struggle he refused to compromise on. Supporters were furious, believing the board had pushed out their greatest asset. The breakup left scars that never fully healed. The Derby conflict illustrated both Clough's brilliance and his stubbornness. He believed success required unity under his leadership and vision. Any disagreement felt like sabotage to his plans, prompting swift retaliation. Boardroom politics frustrated him far more than battles on the pitch. His departure reshaped the club and altered the course of his career. It became a defining moment in his complex relationship with authority. One of the most famous controversies was his exclusion from the England managerial role. Despite unmatched success with Nottingham Forest, the FA repeatedly overlooked him. Officials feared his outspoken nature would create turmoil on the national stage. They viewed him as too unpredictable and rebellious for the job's demands. Clough openly criticized their decisions, insisting he deserved the chance. Many still argue he was the greatest England manager the nation never had. The repeated rejection became symbolic of Clough's complicated relationship with the football establishment. He saw the FA as rigid and lacking the courage to embrace his genius. Supporters felt his absence from the national team was a missed opportunity. Pundits debated how he might have transformed England's fortunes on the world stage. The controversy followed him throughout his later years. It added a final layer to his legend as an icon who always stood outside the system. Brian Clough's story remains one of the most remarkable journeys in football history, filled with triumphs, controversies, and unforgettable moments. His charisma and fire shaped every club he touched, leaving a legacy that still sparks debate decades later. Whether admired or criticized, Clough compelled people to feel something powerful. His impact on the game went far beyond the trophies he lifted. He changed how managers led, how teams played, and how football was understood. Few figures have ever left such a dramatic mark. As we look back on his legacy, we see a man who refused to compromise his beliefs no matter the consequence. His confidence bordered on defiance, and his honesty often cut sharper than any tactical decision. Yet behind the bravado stood a leader capable of immense loyalty and inspiration. Clough gave underdogs belief and champions humility. His human flaws only made his successes more extraordinary. His story teaches that greatness often comes wrapped in contradiction. Even now, fans, journalists, and players reflect on Clough with a mix of awe and frustration. Some remember him as a genius who transformed ordinary teams into European giants. Others recall the chaos, the clashes, and the stubbornness that defined his darker moments. But together, these pieces form a portrait of someone truly unforgettable. His highs were breathtaking, and his lows deeply human. Clough's legacy stands as one of football's most compelling tales. As we conclude this journey through his life, it's clear that Brian Clough left more than statistics or headlines. He left emotion. He made football unpredictable, alive, and bursting with personality. His presence shaped generations of fans who admired his courage to speak the truth as he saw it. Whether he was right or wrong, he was never quiet, and that boldness ensured his name would echo through history long after his final whistle. His story continues to inspire, provoke, and captivate. Thank you for joining this deep dive into the life and controversies of Brian Clough. If you enjoyed this exploration of his legacy, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more powerful stories from the world of football. Your support helps us bring more legendary journeys to life. Share your thoughts below. Was Clough a genius, a rebel, or a mix of both? We'd love to hear your perspective. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you in the next one.